Hey everybody, this is Kate Johnson from the Bookkeeping Side Hustle Group. It is December 9th in the afternoon, and I'm excited to be here. For over a year now, I've had it on my agenda, to my little notes of like things I want to do, to have a follow-up interview with Shanita Jones. She's the star, the person who's going to teach us everything we can extract from her in 30 minutes or so. I interviewed her last year after she was just a couple months into taking her side hustle full-time, and I met her online and knew that I had to just kind of learn what that was about, and she told us everything last year, so y'all can definitely go back and watch that video. But this year she's been in business for over a full year now, and we're gonna see what it's like. She's had to she's been through a pandemic now. I think she's hired her husband. So I know she's got a lot more stories to share. I did want to say, I don't have sponsors, but I'm going to say this interview is sponsored by me. And go to the Bookkeeping Side Hustle store. If you want to get a copy of my book, the Bookkeeping Side Hustle Guidebook, which I will be giving away to the person who wins the prize today. But also I've got a great accounting little cheat sheet mouse pad that's really good, and I want to have more people know that that's there. I mean, I'm not getting rich on my like dollar extra I make on my mouse pads, but I think they're valuable for people to use, and I think my book's worth a read too. So visit bookkeepingsidehustle.com/store for those. And now, without further ado, we're going to get started. We've got Shanita Jones here, and Shanita, for now, I would just like you to give us the little 30-second intro, who you are, what's your company, that sort of thing. And then we're going to get a little bit more bio in a minute.
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you, Kate, and Bookkeeping Side Hustle. You do a phenomenal job. Everything you do is with the utmost integrity. And before I introduce myself, I want to keep talking about you. And I want to say, if you have not subscribed to Kate's YouTube channel, I'm going to need everybody to go subscribe so she can get her vanity URL. That's for all the things that Kate does for all of us. Let's make sure we make her channel great, and let's pump it out there.
All right, yeah. I think if people search Bookkeeping Side Hustle on YouTube, it'll come up. My redheads all over the videos, so I'd love that. Yeah, and then maybe one day I'll get like a burrito if I get 1,000 subscribers and there's like a few ads on it or something.
Well, we gotta start somewhere. Right?
Yeah.
So don't y'all forget to subscribe.
Awesome.
And if you catch it on the replay, it's not too late.
So tell me about your company real quick. Finish your intro. Don't worry about me.
Okay. So now back to my intro. My name is Shanita Jones. I'm a CPA. I started my company a little over 10 years ago in the front porch of my home office. We have since grown to a team of about 6 of us. We do accounting, tax preparation, bookkeeping, tax planning, tax IRS representation, and we serve individuals as well as small business clients.
Awesome. I see we've got a lot of folks here on the official Zoom registration. That's where I'm going to be trying to manage the questions. Shani is also active in the Facebook group, so tag her if you have any more questions, but I can only manage to see so many. So those of you who are registered, you win the open access, and I'm going to be watching the questions, and we'll try to get to some of those. I mean, and then the last thing I want to say is those of you who registered, Shanita has a resource that will be available to one lucky winner called Close Your Deal on Your Lunch Break, because she had to do that for many years, and so there's no person better to have written that. And so at the end of our conversation, I put everyone who registered, I put your name in a little, like a random picker thing, and we will spin the wheel and give that prize away. But Shanita, I'd like for you to give us a little bit more of a background of yourself. Some people haven't listened to that very first video. I think it's pretty interesting to go all the way back to like high school, because I know that's a big part of your story, and just the I don't know about non-traditional, but just the path that you have taken to get where you are today to be a full-time business owner in the accounting space.
So I'll go back to high school. I enjoy high school. High school is fun. I enjoy high school so much. You know how we're in high school, we think we know everything. We think we're grown. I was so grown that I did not finish 12th grade. So when I got in 12th grade, I decided that I was done. I became a mom. Senior year, I left high school. I do not advise any young people watching that you do that.
Yeah.
It does not always turn out that way. So I dropped out. But by the grace of God, I was able to go back and and I took the hard way, y'all. Associates, bachelor's, master's, CPA. Um, and like I said, by the grace of God, I was able to get through. I worked the entire time, raised a family, had kids, got married, did all of this, started a business. And for 10 long years, I worked while I ran the business, went to school. I did everything at one time. But it really doesn't have to be that hard. And that's what I want to share with you all. It does not have to be that hard. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but it doesn't have to be that hard.
Yeah. I definitely want us to focus more on like the lessons you've learned being a full-time person now. But I really want to encourage y'all to go back and listen to that interview for last year. I like that it doesn't paint a glamorous picture of this. Some people think like, oh, I can just do a little side hustle and make a little extra money. I mean, you obviously took your business very seriously. You took your career job seriously as well. And she shares stories about, scrambling to make it to soccer games and working 80 hours a week and then actually ending up at the doctor because her family was like, you're doing too much. So please go listen to that. I think it presents a really good, true picture. And that's what I want more of this interview today to be about as well. There's that old cowboy Western, the good, the bad, and the ugly. There's a lot of good. This year, there's been some bad and some ugly. So we want to figure that out. So you've officially been in business full-time. Is it about 18 months now? How long is it?
No, it's not quite 18. It might be just under that because
Yeah.
I left around August in 2019. So just under that.
Yeah.
It's been
Okay.
full time. And I picked the pandemic year to do that.
I mean, you've always done it the hard way. So um, let me see. So yes, that was my first question. We got hit by the COVID pandemic, and I'm curious about, I mean, that's pretty brutal. Less than half a year after you take this scary plunge into quitting your job, we have this unprecedented time. So just how has it been since March when this happened? Were you stable enough? Do you think that it wouldn't have worked out if you had been newer? Like what do people need to know about just how you've juggled this kind of disaster time?
Well, I'll start by saying that I was serving the childcare industry,
Oh
and
my
that
gosh.
industry was hit so hard. Childcares, restaurants, salons, spas, barbers, those type of people, they were hit especially hard. So within the first 7 weeks, we lost 7 clients. That was really rough. It was rough on us, but it was also rough on my customers because, I really did I care about them.
Mm-hmm.
So we had to really ramp up our marketing efforts, both to the clients that we wanted to attract or the prospects that we wanted to turn into to customers. And we also had to continue to market to our existing customers. We did a lot of intentional scope creeping to help people with things. We had to just turn on the advisory bell, whether or not that's what they were subscribed to, because
Yeah.
we were here to serve them. And if we were going to survive, our survival basically depended on that of our customers. If we allowed them to go down, then who are we serving? So I learned a lot during the pandemic. I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about my industry, and I learned so much about my team. My team is phenomenal. They've been self-sacrificing themselves the entire time, and I couldn't have done it without them. So, had I been newer, that was another part of your question. Had I been newer, would I have been able to sustain and weather this storm? I don't think so. Because if
Okay.
you go back and you listen to the first interview, you'll know that I was real big on preparing for starting my own business.
Right.
So I already went into it with the mindset of let's plan for the worst, but let's plan for the worst. Let's prepare for the worst, but plan for the best. However that cliche goes. So I was prepared for it, but I wasn't expecting it. So had I been a little newer, I may not have been able to give so freely to all the people that I was able to give to, of my time, of my knowledge, studying, acquiring additional resources and information just to help them. We even had to help people that were no longer able to afford our services, but because they had been with us up until that point, we still weren't going to leave anybody out high and dry.
Did you have to lay off any of your staff?
I added to.
You added to? Um, did that, so your business grew even though you
We
lost
grew.
seven of your niche clients?
We grew. When I spoke to you last year, I was so excited because I had managed to replace my corporate salary.
Okay.
Well, I can tell you that as of today, I've I'm I'm probably a little bit more than 4 times my corporate salary gross.
Okay.
So to accommodate that, we actually had to add additional bodies. So what that meant was my niche, even though it was my niche, and I do believe in riches and niches, in unprecedented times, sometimes you have to think outside of the box a little bit. So that was a time for us to explore and work with other people.
So the growth has come outside of your niche, not from, I mean, daycare. Like, do you think you're going to go back to daycare?
It's been inside and outside. So we will continue to serve daycare just because I believe in education and childhood education and early childhood education so much. We will continue to serve them, but we are probably going to be more selective in the ones that we take on just because, like I said, it's a really rough time for them. And even some of the larger ones, they're facing a lot of difficulty. So if we feel we can help them, we'll work with them. But if we're not sure, we'll just refer them to one of our free resources that are available for them.
All right. Well, if y'all have any more questions about navigating the pandemic, please ask now. I'm going to ask you one more because I remember you making a comment about this several months ago, and I've been wanting to ask you this because I do differently than you, or I think you used to do the same way I did. You
Okay.
made a comment saying that you were not going to do QuickBooks Online wholesale pricing anymore. Did I remember you saying that?
Um,
And you
I
were saying
never did.
I'm not paying for my client subscriptions anymore.
Oh, yes, I quit. I've been delivered from that. I'm not doing that anymore.
So when you don't pay for your clients' QuickBooks Online subscriptions, if they're, I work with smaller, like newer guys, so maybe that hasn't been a problem for you, but I am always looking to bring them on at wholesale pricing, and I included, I value price, so they don't really know, like I don't break out what what the subscription costs. I just say this is what your monthly charge is, and so to me that's like a lot. That's a it's multiplied by 12. That's a really nice discount, but you're not doing that.
No, I am not doing that anymore for several reasons.
Yeah, tell
The,
me.
the, the first reason is QuickBooks continues to go up on their subscription pricing. So when they go up on their subscription pricing, customers do not always understand because you're value pricing now. So you're
Yeah.
not telling them you're paying this much for my service, you're paying this much for your software. So it's not so easy to just sporadically go up every time Intuit decides that they want to go up.
Fair
So
enough.
every time they go up, your profit goes down.
Mm-hmm.
That was the first reason. The second reason is if a client decides to leave or we ask a client to leave, it's been too hard to get them to take over their master admin. I don't want to be master admin over anyone's books anymore. It's your company, it's your books. You stay, you go, it's yours. You should keep it.
Hmm.
I don't want that responsibility. And if we separate, especially during the pandemic,
Yeah.
and remember, people that left during the pandemic, these are not all bad breakups. Some of the clients that leave and are asked to leave are simply asked to leave because they no longer fit the mold of who we want to serve. And we're no longer able to do so in a way that's mutually beneficial. So they may be asked to leave. And I don't want to have to constantly chase behind them to get their QuickBooks. I don't want to stop paying for it. And cause them that interruption period. And at the same time, I don't want to pay for something and I'm not making money from paying for it. So for that reason, we will not voluntarily pay for anyone's subscription. And when we do, I always structure it in a way where it's going to be mutually beneficial, is going to be a larger client that I anticipate is going to be around for a while. And then sometimes they're large enough where I can have them pay it for the entire year. So you've paid for it for a year. I'm not losing anything as I'm paying a monthly subscription. And then for those that have the 5 for 25s, when that 5 for 25 jumps up from $5 to whatever it jumps up to, and you get that first email, because they tell you, but you probably don't notice, and you get that first email receipt and you're like, oh, MG, what did I just do? That, it hurts if you're watching your cash flow, which I know we're all watching our cash flow because we watch everyone else's. So for me, it just became a matter of, it really did make sense. But the most important reason why I stopped, if you are a business owner and you're serious about your business and you seriously want to work with us or any accountant and you want to have accounting in place, you should be able to pay for it. I have some smaller clients. I have some larger clients. I found another thing, a lot of the people that cannot go online and set up their little QuickBooks account, they're the same people that cannot send you access, cannot perform your communications, cannot register for a Zoom meeting. So that's part of our process. If you can't do the first initial thing, even with guidance, because I will help you, then maybe you may be someone that is not a good fit for us.
So you are giving me a lot of things to think about. One thing that anyway, this is good. Okay, that was a little personal aside. I wanted to think about like, why is she not paying for her client subscriptions and getting wholesale pricing? Awesome. Well, I got another question for you. I'm interested in the history of the corporate structure of your business. My corporate structure was sole proprietor-ish. I think I got my first client before, it was sole proprietor. I got my first client before I really even had a business name that I was going to call myself. I eventually came up with a name that I've stuck with. Heritage Business Services. Woohoo! But this year I elected to become an S Corp because I'm at the point where the tax saving, like it's worth it.
Hey, congratulations.
And yeah. So I formed an LLC to then make the S Corp election. But I just wanted to know how. I don't really know how to advise people on that. Like, if I want to just make like $15,000-$20,000 a year, serving a few clients, which, like, I think is fine and great for people if that's your goal. Probably don't need to become an S Corp, but lots of people don't really know where they're going to end up in several years. So that very first, what's been the history of your structure? Did you start out as an LLC from the very beginning? Did you try to do stuff kind of just as a sole proprietor beforehand? Tell us how it's all gone.
So I want to address the first part of what you said really quickly.
Okay.
If you are not familiar, and I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to all of us.
Yes.
If you are not familiar with tax structure, tax planning, and how it works, you really don't want to advise anyone of anything, not your clients. And you work in this industry, you know great people, you can get a quick consult with them to speak to your specific situation. You can call me. As for you, Kate, to answer your question, I started out as a sole proprietor. Single member LLC. So, of course, the single member LLC is just a state thing, but federally by default, one person sole proprietor. And then when we grew, as we continued to grow, when revenues justified it and net profit and self-employment tax justified it, I converted to an S corporation.
How long ago did you do that? Was that like in the middle of still like the side hustle phase though? Or was it not till you were full time?
It was at the end of the side hustle phase. Once the side hustle caught up with the main hustle and the taxes caught up with those, it was time to make a change.
Okay, so we're talking a long time though. So you were a sole proprietor for longer than you have been an S corp in the history.
Right, but I also do taxes. So I also knew what I was looking at. I was also maximizing, whatever it was that I could do to maximize. And I just want to say that a lot of people, I see it in a lot of groups that's floating around. Everyone's, oh, I made a profit of X amount of money, I need to go be an S corp. It's not really that black and white anymore.
Okay.
You know, it's not really that black and white. People ask me all the time, how much do I need to make to be an S corp? And then if you do go be an S corp, you know, you also, as a business owner, you have to remember you still have to be compliant. So I still have to do payroll for myself and pay payroll taxes and unemployment taxes and workers' comp taxes. I know that's insurance, but anything they make me pay to me is a tax. So,
Right. It's taking the money out of my hand. That's right.
yeah.
um, well, that's interesting, and I'll just say I still don't know where I land on this. So I had I had a federal EIN as my sole proprietor business, but I wasn't an LLC because it's like more expensive to form an LLC in states. And I was like super cheap, and I wasn't sure if this was going to go for the long haul. And so I will say, for anyone who's starting and unsure, for sure, if I knew where I was going to end up, I would have started as an LLC from the beginning. It's a little bit of a pain. It's been a pain in the butt to change, because I'm basically creating a whole new company, which if you start out as an LLC, and then you become an S corp, it's a little more smoother, and it's more just a tax change than a corporation change, like at the state. And so that, I don't know. I don't have a good. It's almost like we all need our own little time machine to go figure out, like, well, am I gonna stay tiny or not? Anyway,
Yeah,
but
because you have to have, for some people probably don't understand what you just said. You actually
okay,
have to have an LLC, a corporation, or a partnership to be an S corp. You can't
yep.
just go from sole proprietor to S corp. And are you in Texas?
So I'm complicated. We are Texas residents. My husband's in
Okay.
the military, so the military, you can we've got Texan blood, but right now we're in Virginia.
Oh, okay. And then, you know, some states with their franchise taxes, it becomes a whole nightmare. So you really want to get advice specific to you. But
Right.
as for me, I was a Schedule C, no LLC. Then I got an LLC, and then I incorporated to become an S corp.
Awesome. Let's give. I'd like more information on your staff situation. I know you said you had a team of 6. I I think you hired your husband too. So tell us the
Yeah.
1-minute story about that.
So
But
what had happened was I had been trying to get him to officially come on board for a while, but then COVID happened and people started getting sick at his job and they weren't being outright and honest. So I just asked him not to go back to work. And after a few, you know, scary scares with people close to him getting COVID, he finally agreed, and he's been full time with me for 9 months.
what's his role?
He is our project manager. So
Okay.
he went through the bookkeeping business lunch course, which I learned about in bookkeeping side hustle.
Oh yeah.
And it was a great course. Did all his trainings and all of that. And so now he's our project manager.
Awesome. So so that's one, and then who's the rest of your team? Are they full
So,
timers? Are they? I think y'all
well,
are working from home, right? So are you
yeah,
remote in
well,
states? Oh,
well, 2 of them are CPAs and they work remotely. They have their own businesses. So they just do some subcontracting for us. They do a lot of subcontracting for us. They actually, I love them and appreciate them so much. And then we have another new bookkeeper who I believe I met her in this group, actually. And she has her own company. And then we hired another person who is a bookkeeper, but she's going to be doing some bookkeeping slash admin stuff for us. We haven't really decided if we want to, and she's our only employee person. We haven't decided if we want to keep her in that role or she wants to go off into tax, and we can't never have enough tax people. So we'll see. So,
okay.
yeah. And everyone's remote, but our one girl is local and she does come in from time to time.
Okay. I want to point out, so I am seeing more and more people with big operations like yours finding great help from people who are in the bookkeeping side hustle group for employment. Lots of people, I would say the vast majority of people, probably shouldn't be entrepreneurs or realize that they're only kind of like entrepreneur light, like they'll form their own company, but really like all the trappings of entrepreneurship are just not where their strengths are, and they want to do taxes or they want to do bookkeeping. So I'm glad that you made a connection in there, and I'm seeing that happen more and more. So I really suggest everyone be on their best behavior, use your best grammar, answer your questions, jump in and answer those smart questions. So when people search in there to see, to stalk you, after they're like, that person might be a great fit for me.
She's not the first person I found here. There was another girl that I found here. She was wonderful. I was sad that she had to leave. Her and her sister, actually, I referred her sister to one of my CPA buddies. So I have not had a bad experience with any of the bookkeeping side hustle people.
Okay. Well, that's exciting about your business growing. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. You are going to get to because we're not robots. Bookkeeping really is one of those things that it's impossible to you can scale, but there's only at the end of the day, there's only so much that one person can do. So if you're going to get to the point where, and you probably should prepare before you're at that point of what's it going to be like whenever I bring on that client that pushes me over the edge to not being able to serve all my clients well. I'm too full to serve everyone well, and then it's all just you're doing bad for everybody. So you have to think about your vision for your company and what you want it to look like and how big you want to be. And it's everyone's different. And I think it's so cool because there's so many ways to do this. Like right now I have zero desire to get as big as you have gotten. I do not want to hire my husband, but that's fine. And my income per my effort can still be great. And I know you have dreamt of having your own firm for 10 years. And
well, I had it for 10 years.
Sure.
I wanted to get out of corporate America.
Exactly.
And I wanted to leave with the confidence that I wouldn't have to go back. So that's what it was about. I could have left before I did, but I didn't really feel good about it. I needed to feel good about it. So I dreamt of that freedom I called it escaping. Actually.
Yeah. I think a lot of people feel that way. And you're just such a great story of a way that it's been successful. So that's why I like hearing from you and learning from you, and whatever Shanita says, I'm like, oh my gosh, I better listen to her. So I have a question now that your husband is working for you. Last year on the interview, if folks go back and listen to that, you talked about healthcare being one of the just big sort of things in the back of your mind about how you go. I re-listened to the interview and you said you liked having that double coverage. So now you don't even have him on at a company. So what are y'all doing for healthcare? Because that's such a big thing that people who want to go full-time have to consider.
We purchased it through our company.
Okay.
We went out and we just had to get a company health plan. So that's
all right.
Yeah.
So is that through your payroll provider, or did you find it separately?
No, one of my friends, actually, one of my accountant buddies, she connected me with her broker who sells health insurance and annuities and all of that good stuff. And he took really good care of it. So we were able to get a policy that way.
Does it take your breath away when you have to pay it? I mean, is it hard to swallow?
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's unbelievable. And we're young and relatively healthy. So, but what we are going to do for our full-time employees, we are going to pay for employee only. So that's why I'm so selective about who we bring on as employees, because we want our people to be happy. We want them to stay. We want them to be healthy. So we will eventually be able to do that. So I feel blessed that we'll be able to, give them that.
But the true story is it's a big cost. So
yeah.
I mean, I'm sure people kind of know that, but we're hearing someone tell us from her own mouth, it's It's terrible. It's really expensive.
You don't have to indirectly ask. I'll tell you how much it costs.
Okay, tell us how much it costs for you and your husband.
And my son. It is $1,600. So if there's anybody out here selling insurance and you got a better rate, let me know.
$1,600 a month
A
for
month.
y'all.
Yep.
And that's not, I'm sure that then there are, like, if you actually need to go to the doctor, there's more charges and stuff on that.
There's more
Deductibles.
charges, but we got a pretty decent plan, so it's not as bad as some of the other plans were with the lower costs. But when you have a 15-year-old kid running around playing soccer, breaking himself, you really just want to be able to go to the doctor and not worry about it.
Okay. There y'all have it. So multiply 16 by 12, and that's like the bare minimum you have to make, and that's not that won't include feeding yourself. So
no, it's not, because you also still have the marketplace, whatever it is called these days, and
okay.
whatever it's going to be going forward. So if you're just starting out and your income is within the guidelines, you could probably get a better plan, a cheaper plan on the marketplace. But they have income limits where you won't, based on your income tax return, you just might not qualify. So,
all right. Thanks for pointing that out too. I have been blessed. I was in school and then got married and to someone in the military, man in the military. So I've got the military healthcare, and I've never had to deal with a lot of those issues. So
and
awesome.
Thank you for your service.
Oh yeah, well, he's great. So okay, I have another question. In last year's interview, I asked you what you wanted to do in the sort of short-term plan, and you said in 3 to 5 years, you wanted to do more tax resolution work, grow your bookkeeping team, and add advisory level services. Are those still your goals, and how are you progressing? And if they're not, how have your goals changed?
So one of the CPAs that worked for me, her name is Jacqueline Baptiste, CPA. She has a brilliant mind, and she specializes in tax representation. I've later been corrected not to call it resolution, but
Okay.
she specializes in representation. So I actually started a separate partnership with her where she and I do IRS representation and tax planning. So that goal has been fulfilled.
Way to go.
So we are doing that. And then as far as the growing the bookkeeping team, we did that because we had our newbies. And what was the other thing that I told you?
You said add advisory level services, and at the beginning of this interview, you said that everyone got advisory services because of COVID.
I didn't want to do it. I did. That wasn't the plan. See, you know what? We got to be very intentional with what we say, because what we say really becomes our reality. So yes, we became advisors, overnight advisors. So, it's been a blessing, because we really have been able to help so many people. So many people.
So any new goals in the next 3 to 5 years, a year later? Have you adjusted any of those? I know you've got lots of things that you're working on.
Well, there are. So I know somebody's probably wondering, when does she do bookkeeping? I don't do a lot of that anymore.
Okay.
So the new things going on, I know I told y'all about Ben Brown and the $1 Million Firm program. That's actually how I was able to quit my job. So since then, he invited me to partner with him. So we host weekly mastermind sessions for the MDF students. And we also have another program coming out where we're going to be doing customized marketing services for individuals and firms to help them. And then on a solo note, I launched Accountants Unlettered. It is a program designed to help corporate accountants, bookkeepers, tax pros, EAs, AP, payroll, whatever you call yourselves. Don't want to offend anybody. To help all of my financial people get off the corporate ladder and live in life on your own terms and in your own firms full time.
Okay, so you said a lot of things. I want us to dive in. So let's give a shout out to the guy who you said, did you say he's how you got there or something like that? Ben Brown and his $1 million firm. So that's who you credit with your own being able to be where you are today. Is that right? Fair enough?
The grace of God, he brought Ben into my life, and he's been a blessing since he came.
Okay, and so you were a model student, I guess. So Ben
I was.
is helping you. You're now helping Ben to spread the word about him. So that's great. So check that out, y'all. Then you said accountants unladdered. So that's what you're doing, and it's specifically targeted. That's specifically a group for people who are progressing in their accounting careers in the corporate world, but who want
Yes,
to jump, maybe.
yes. This is for people that want to make their side hustle their main hustle. This is for people that may have just started that process and it's kind of shaky and you want to get on a little bit more solid footing. Throughout the program, I share with you everything. I don't hold anything back. I share the good, the bad, the ugly, and it is my goal that by the time you complete the plan, you will have the confidence to leave your job. I'm not saying finish the program, rush through it, and go quit your job if you're not ready, but you will have the foundation to confidently run your firm full time. And even for those that are, if you're already full time in your firm, there's still a lot of value in the group. We have some awesome guest speakers that come and share with us. And the first part of the program that I'm going to release is actually what I'm giving away today. The Close the Deal on Your Lunch Break. It's going to be a master class, and it's going to come with a little black book. And a little black book is going to demonstrate to you the sales script that I use and also the things that I do before and after to close a deal on my lunch break, because we don't have a lot of time. Whether we're in corporate or we're in our own firms, if we're busy, we don't have a lot of time.
And so I was a stay-at-home mom before I started my business, and my kids are really little, and I've slowly grown as they have been. I got my last one's in kindergarten right now, in like a half-day
Right.
program. So even for someone like me, this close the deal on the lunch break, like sometimes I only have an hour, and I'm not sitting at an office or a cubicle at a big firm, but I still only have an hour, and I offer 15-minute consultations. Like, I don't know where I learned that, somewhere I have it on my website, and like it's the chance to like get to talk to someone, and then I go and try to come up with a proposal, and I'm sure I need you to tell me how to improve my processes, but I can't have a 15-minute phone call. I mean, clearly I'm talking my mouth off right here. Like, I need that's a valuable skill. If you can not be rude, but like get to the point, and I feel like I can't get to the point. I don't know. So what a resource that we all need.
So it's an art. It's definitely
Yeah.
an art. It's a skill. And as part of the master class, what I really want to do is I really want to do some practice with the people. So the first 5 people, they're going to be my babies. And I don't care if you're older than me or not. My first 5 people, you are stuck with me. My first 5 people are going to be my babies. So I really want to take them and help them get through that process. And maybe we can do some role play and we can help you. But I schedule the calls for an hour, but I really don't want to talk to them. It doesn't take you an hour as a customer to decide if you want to work with me, or it doesn't take me an hour to decide if I even want to pitch you.
Yeah.
We,
So the name of your group, are you doing this mostly as a Facebook group, as a website? What's the best way for people to figure out your juice?
so I'll share a link. This is the link to not only join the Facebook group and get information for as we release the segments of the program, but you'll also be entered to win because I'm going to give 1 seat away to Bookkeeping Side Hustle, and I'm going to give 1 seat away to one of the people that actually join our Facebook group.
Okay.
So they'll all be entered to win the Close the Deal on Your Lunch Break masterclass, Little Black Book.
And I will make sure to everyone who registered for the webinar, I have the ability to send a follow-up email, so I'll get that link for sure from you, Shanita, and send it via email as well. But Google Accountants Unladdered, it sounds like that's the name. So
That's the name.
and on Facebook, search also on Facebook for that. And tag Shanita in the group, in the Facebook group. Permission granted. ask questions if you're registered. I'm following the Zoom chat. We got 50 people listening right now. So any of y'all listening here, y'all are the people who get to ask the questions. If you've got anything for Shanita, ask them now. I'm going to move on to another one of mine. Best advice for someone who's in corporate accounting and is dreaming of being the next Shanita Jones and doing their business full time. What's your best advice to
Well, first
the
of
next
all,
Shanita Jones, the
I
next
don't
one of your
want you to
babies?
be, I don't want you to be the next Shanita Jones. I want you to be better than Shanita Jones.
Okay.
Because I want everything I touch to prosper and flourish. So what my advice would be to you, and I can't see the name of the person that asked the question, my advice would be to continue to learn and perfect your craft. Never stop learning, never stop dreaming, never stop planning, and get an organization system to organize your organization system.
Organize your organizing. So, well, can you give us the 1 minute one or best gem on that? Because my organization is not organized.
The one gem is most of us have this. This is a smartphone.
Okay.
And we don't always do smart things. And I'm telling on myself, shame the devil, telling myself, you have a smartphone. So use your calendar, use your apps, use your reminders. If you have a task that you need to complete, put it there. We're glued to our phones most of the time anyway. So I would say the best thing I started doing to become more productive and more organized is time blocking. I plan every minute of my day. I literally have on my calendar, and my team will tell you, Shanita's doing nothing.
Oh,
so, so I actually plan downtime, and then I move things around. And to go along with that time blocking, don't overbook yourself because then you're going to be discouraged with yourself when you're not able to complete all of the things that you lined up for yourself. No one realistically stays on task every hour on the hour. It's impossible, especially if you have kids and a family or whatever. So be kind to yourself. That's another thing. Be kind to yourself.
all
So
right.
definitely those are the things. So surprisingly, it's not the go get this certification, go get that certification that I think is going to be key to most people having success. Do you need those? I'm not saying we don't need those. I'm just saying that even before that, we have to back up. These are all the things when I was getting started. There, I could learn how to do taxes. I could learn how to do QuickBooks. I could learn how to do Zero. I could learn how to do workflow. But no one told me how to prepare to get my mind right to do any of this. I kind of just blew by the cuff.
Well, that's a really great. A gal submitted a question ahead of time. Kayla or Kala, she said because being in business can really take a toll mentally. What do you do, or any tips do you have on how to keep your mindset right after a tough decision or a challenging client? So yeah, that kind of that mindset stuff. How do you not stay down when you're down?
Well, in 2020, it's hard to stay down because now I'm a person of faith. So I actually have these two devotionals that I alternate between reading. Even if you're not the same religion, I love everybody. I'm reading Battlefield of the Mind by Joyce Meyer, her devotional again. And I'm also reading T.D. Jakes' Inspire to Soar. This is also a devotional, and the TD Jakes one is actually about starting a business. So they give you a verse with inspiration, they give you a little story that's helpful. And then the other thing I do is I'm a very grateful person. So if you just start to look around and see what's happening, turn on the news for 5 minutes, that is enough to make all of us feel grateful, even if things aren't going how we want them. They can be so much worse. So whenever I find myself feeling sorry for myself or anything like that, if I can think one bad thing, I speak it out loud. I look like a crazy person sometimes because I'll read all these kind of mindset books. So I'll repeat positive affirmations to myself. Like, you're not a mean person. You had to let that client go. You're not, but you have to. And sometimes you have to say it until you believe it.
Right. I mean, I've had a couple of, I've had my share of bad days as a business owner, and it's certainly, it's harder than anything I've ever done professionally. So I'll just like this is hard, hard. All of it's hard. Building your website's hard. Clearly, y'all seen the graphics I create. That's hard for for me. I've got my kids juggling. You know, it's hard. But I would. Oh gosh, I forgot what I was going to say. It was about shoot.
Oh, Constance asks, do you need to be an accountant? Um, you don't need to be a certified public accountant if that's what you're asking. You don't need to be a degreed accountant. You just need to work in this space, or you're getting ready to get into this space. So it's enrolled agents, bookkeepers, accountants, CPAs, AP people, payroll people, AR people, people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. As long as you're willing to learn and work hard at learning, because this isn't sort of a fly by night, like let's do this for 6 months and then move on to something else. This is more of a long term game. I do remember what I was going to say about my advice to Kayla about when business is hard. I I think you can't do business alone, and a lot of the way, like kind of at least in the way I'm seeing people build businesses, it's starting off as that solopreneur, starting off as that sole prop, like doing it yourself. Shanita started the same way. You got to have a business buddy, a business best friend. If it's, it can be the bookkeeping side hustle group, it could be Shanita, it could be me. Shanita's going to have her own group where you could just say like, today was terrible, and how do you handle that? And so don't think that like because you're sitting at your desk alone that you're really alone, and you got to talk stuff through. So
And
um,
Kayla, I actually have an accountability group. I really don't know what we are anymore, but I have an accountability group. There's about 5 of us in this group. We talk all day, every day. We're instant messaging for the most part, and then bi-weekly we have a Zoom session. We talk business strategy, we talk therapy, we talk family, whatever. It's good to have someone to talk to. It's good to have someone, even if you, and all of us are different. Like some of us are older, some are younger, we're different races. I think we're all the same religion, but we're very different at different spaces. And it's like we just all fit together personally. And they are my best friends.
are they all accountants?
Yes, they are. There's yeah, they're all accountants.
So that's one way to do it. I'll say starting in September, I actually have started to have biweekly calls with a group, and I feel like I have the support I need from the bookkeeping side of my business, but I guess from the bookkeeping side hustle side of my business, where I find myself loving and being thrilled about working at helping people, and trying to figure out, okay, well, how do I like grow this in a way that's like compensates me for my time, like getting ads on YouTube, which I'm not
Oh, that's the
great
fun
at.
stuff.
But I'm meeting with a gal who, one of them is like a creative, like a website designer-ish
Mhm.
logo person. One of them has like a crazy successful business as a she creates resources for Sunday school teachers in churches,
Oh,
and has like 100,000 website visitors a month or something. Like, I mean, really, really good. And we meet, and um, it's been so invaluable, so invaluable. Like none of us would like family get out Thursday. Every other Thursday is for me, and we do it late at night because that's what works for us. But
yeah.
so
And
that's
Kayla,
something good.
another thing, my husband officially joined in March. Like I talked him out of his job. But if you do have that spouse and children at home, whatever your family situation is, involve them. Because my family has been a part of it from the beginning. So they know, they were always there. So sometimes I think some people, when I meet with newer people that want to talk to me for some help or whatever, I find that sometimes we leave our family out. And when we leave them out and we're so busy doing all the stuff that we do, they don't feel as important. So maybe bounce the things off of them, whatever you're thinking or whatever. Just pull them into the conversation. Let them. give you their input. And you'll be surprised. Sometimes I get my best ideas from my husband.
I definitely talk to my husband about work too. I got a couple more here on my that I'm seeing on the webinar Q&A, Shanita.
Oh yeah, I see.
One person has asked, how much can you make as a bookkeeper if you want to avoid taking on staff? How would you answer that?
The scholars say that you should be able to make $250,000 with no staff and work a basic full-time schedule. But I would say, why do you want to limit your earning potential? But in my personal opinion, I felt that I really needed to get help once I got over like that 150 mark. But it was also because that was during the pandemic, and it was when people's lives were falling apart and we were running around learning about PPP, EIDL, and all kind of other letters that we never want to hear again.
Okay. I can answer that question in terms of, as someone who I don't ever foresee myself working like a 40-hour week. I just try to think of it as like, even if I might not make as much as someone who works 40 hours a week, is my income per effort high?
Right.
So if I make $50,000 a year, but I'm only working like 10 hours a month, that's pretty good. And I'm working on sort of tracking my time to make sure I'm not like kidding myself. But I mean, I have clients that like, I know my hourly rate, even though I'm not charging them hourly, is quite high because I've gotten them streamlined and simplified, and it's easy, and their business is kind of easy now. So that's another way to think of it. If you're not necessarily I'm blessed. I'm married to someone who has like a super steady job. So that's another way I think of it, is sort of like, what would my income be if I worked full time?
Right. Because I meet a lot of people that say, I want, they don't want to bring on people because they're afraid of the hassles and the challenges that are entailed with that. I meet with accountants that say they want to bring on people, but they don't want to navigate the payroll, the compliance things. They just don't want to be bothered with it. So my comment is more so for those people that they know they need the help and they want the help. And these are all things that, as I went through and hashed out and put it together, it all ended up finding its place somewhere in the accountant's ladder. The things I wish someone had told me before I started. So that's a big one. And poor Miss Loretta, she had asked that question. She had the first question that I didn't answer. She wanted to know, how long did it take to get processes set up the way I wanted to? Miss Loretta, I'll let you know when I get there. because it is a work in process. It's a never-ending thing. I am happy with the way things are now, but we are moving to a new system come January, so everything's going to change. So I think when it works, it works and it's good and you're happy. But I think that we don't ever want to become complacent and not think of, can we become more productive? Can we be more efficient? Can we streamline things? Because I don't want anyone in my company to ever work more than 35 or 30 hours a week. I don't mind. I want to have everybody be full time and pay them full time, but I don't want to dominate anyone's life. That was part of the reason why I escaped from corporate America. I don't want it for me, so I don't want it for my people.
Even during tax time?
Even during tax time.
Because tax people are crazy.
We are.
I mean, you're supposed to be working 80 hours as a tax professional from January to April, right? And then you take a vacation.
That is the lie that the enemy told us. Yeah. He wants us to believe that we have to work our fingers to the bone, but we really don't. If we get better systems and things in place, and we're properly staffed, and we properly set boundaries with our customers, we do not need to work 80 hours. Now, during tax season, I like the adrenaline rush of it. I'm one of the crazies. So I like it. It's fun to me. But I've been doing taxes for 15 years, so my body is like clockwork. Is ready. We getting rested because we know in about 6 weeks or 8 weeks, it's party time.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna go crazy. I didn't go crazy last year, believe it or not.
Good, good. What's the program you're going to switch to? You said you're switching some sort of system?
Yeah, so I got on the Sweet Dash kick. So we're having,
Sweet Dash?
yes. So
SUITE?
EDASH. I think it's all one word. So
Okay.
yeah. So my friend Sonia, she actually has a Sweet Dash group just for bookkeepers and tax pros. So I know they talk a lot of e-commerce in Sonia's world, but if anyone's interested in learning more, they're over there.
So is it a practice management thing?
It
Is that
is
what it is?
practice. Oh, it's everything.
Okay, everyone
Yeah,
go look up Sweet Dash.
it's everything. Let me get y'all my affiliate link before y'all go look it up.
Oh, tag Shanita before you go. You can go
Yeah,
research it before you purchase. Tag Shanita. Yes, get
but
her
but
affiliate commissions.
yeah, but it
Um,
is everything.
Let me ask another one here. Through your Accountants Unladdered program, will you be able to consult on questions regarding tax or business in general? We'll be able to talk to you directly or someone on the staff. That was from an anonymous.
So you can talk about whatever you want to talk about. The only rule is that you can't invite your clients or anyone's clients. We are unladdered. We're off the ladder. We're uncensored. We speak freely. You can ask all the questions you want. We are not in there. We're not giving tax advice. But if you have a question related to something that's involving tax, then yeah, we could talk about it. And then we have been getting requests for one-on-one mentoring. I'm not sure what that's going to look like or when it's going to start, especially with tax season coming. And it's time for my journaling fix. But certainly, we're still small right now. Actually, I'm waiting for member number 200 because then that's going to unlock another a free training in the group. So they're hoping that you guys come over and join. But certainly we do a lot of talking there because we're a small group. We'll hop on a regular Zoom and talk and things like that. So yeah.
I'm going to have us answer one more question and then I'm going to do the prize giveaway and keep this short. And it's actually been long. I'm going to cut it off though. And I want y'all to know that Shanita is so generous with her time. So you can go to her group, Accountants Unladdered, and ask her questions or tag her in our group. But this is a powerful question that I'd like to hear your opinion on. Rita asks, how do you get these connections and friendships when you're coming at this from the outside as a brand new bookkeeping professional who's making a career change? Is it not weird reaching out to someone you don't know and asking for help?
No, that's how I met all of my friends. There was actually a lady down in Florida. Her name was Shanita Jones. She's an EA. I was Googling my company's name the same way I know a lot of you do. And I said, oh, her company's name is just like mine. Oh, her name is like mine. I literally emailed her and said, hey, we have the same name. Can we be friends? And I said, oh, you're an enrolled agent. And I was studying for the EA exam at the time before I switched to CPA. And I said, can you be my mentor? I'm trying to learn how to do whatever I was trying to learn at the time. And she said, sure. The lady didn't know me. So relationships and connections are everything here, Rita. That's where a lot of your business is going to come from. That's where you're going to find out, where you're even going to get advice on what should I take? How will this program work? How is this trainer? How is this marketer? So no, it's not weird at all reaching out to people.
All right, well, let us do the prize giveaway. We're going to give away a copy of How to Close Your Deal on Your Lunch Break. Let me, hold on, do a screen share really quickly. Hold on. Y'all aren't seeing my screen yet, are you? Okay. Screen number 1, share. All right, do y'all see a little wheel? Shanita, do you see a wheel?
I do.
All right, so I think we had 95 names in here. One that a 95 chance. And I'm going to toss in a copy of the Bookkeeping Side Hustle Guidebook. I will email you via or message you that as well. So let's go.
I like this.
Who's it going to be?
I'm going to have to use this.
What do they got? Derica Jones, which is not, is that a cousin? I don't know.
No, I don't know her.
All right, Derica, we will reach out to you I'll stop this right now. That's so exciting. I love this.
Congratulations.
Y'all, check out Accountants Unladdered. Tag Shanita in the Bookkeeping Side Hustle group. Remember, this interview was sponsored by the Bookkeeping Side Hustle store, bookkeepingsidehustle.com/store, where you can get a copy of my book or your awesome, nerdy T account mouse pad that every accountant needs. Shanita, thank you so much. I look up to you. I have learned so much from you. I told her earlier, whenever Shanita says jump, I say how high.
No.
I really think that to be successful in business, you have to hear stories like this. You don't want people who are only going to tell you the roses. And Shanita has been really good about, I guess, just shooting straight and telling people when they're wrong, but kindly, telling me when I'm wrong, but kindly, and not painting like a picture that's a lie. If you hear that entrepreneurship is easy or that accounting is easy and like, oh, it's just like categorizing a bank statement, like, no, like this is hard. It takes lots of work. She busted her butt for half of her life doing this. I mean, if you started with your getting your associates and your, you're an inspiration. So thank you. And we will, I don't think I'm forgetting anything. Am I ready to sign off?
Yes, you're forgetting to remind them to subscribe to your YouTube channel.
Subscribe to the YouTube channel. This is going to be uploaded on YouTube, so please subscribe. Bookkeeping Side Hustle YouTube channel. That would be great. Thank you for that, Shanita. Right. In business, the pie is big, right? So always build up other people like that. So thank you, Shanita. Yeah. And I'm glad that, it's cool. Like, I had no idea you were going to have your own like accounting coaching program a year ago when I interviewed you.
I didn't either.
And when I put it on my calendar, like 1 year from now, check in, like I literally have had this interview on my to-do list for a year. Who knows where you're going to be next year? Maybe we'll do this again. But I'm glad to tell people to go listen to you. So pick your coach. If it's Shanita, if you're inspired by her, pick her, and then just say laser focused, do whatever she tells you for like at least 6 to 12 months, because it can be a very crowded space about like finding who to listen to. And I think one way to combat that is just to find someone you trust and that you mesh with, and kind of keep it's like dating, and then you get married, like quit looking around. Like if Shanita's your girl, let her be your girl, and don't be looking over your shoulder about, oh, well, could someone else have helped me better? I think some of y'all, she's probably a great fit for, and give her a great chance. So that's so cool. I like you. Thanks for being my friend and for being a mentor to me. And we'll sign off right now. All right, bye, Bookkeeping Side Hustle Group.
Thank you all, and congratulations again, Derica.
Yes. Oh, we'll be in contact, Derica.
All right. Bye-bye.